to another video from me, That Running Girl. 2 videos in 1 week. I'm spoiling you. I just thought I would make this video because I recently ordered the Lunaracer 4 and I don't like it, so I'm sending them back. So before I send them back, I thought that I would make a video about them because there don't seem to be that many videos about Lunaracers and reviews on them. So I just thought I would tell you my experience of the shoe before sending them back. So as you know, I have run in the Lunaracer. I've run in all generations of the Lunaracer since their release. I think they were released about 4 or 5 years ago in the UK. And the predecessor of the Lunaracer 4 was obviously the Lunaracer 3, which I've been wearing for a number of years. And this is the pair that I'm currently wearing. As you can see, it's got mud on from when I went out running earlier on. And I just really like this shoe. There's quite a number of differences between the Lunaracer 3 and the Lunaracer 4, which I will go through. I'm not going to bother trying them on because I've got all the packaging in them ready to go back. So, first thing that you will obviously see the difference between the Lunaracer 3 and the Lunaracer 4 is that Nike have stripped away the fly wire on the side. So as you can see, this fly wire kind of almost spider webby wiring detail on the side of the shoe, which was designed to completely lock the foot into the shoe and create stability without weight. They've done away with that, so that is not on the side of the shoe anymore. They have a different lacing system to the Lunaracer 3 as well. As you can see, they have these kind of tabs, as opposed to in the Lunaracer 3 the lacing system is all kind of all in one. They don't have any tabs, it's just all kind of, you know, complete in the material, like tying the shoe together. They don't have separate tabs here. So when you actually try it on, it feels a lot different in the lacing area. I felt like I was really having to pull the laces really tight on this to get it, this part of the shoe to feel really locked down, because it doesn't have this kind of fly wire system going on, which was what it was created for. And I personally don't like that because, number one, I don't want to be tying my shoes that tight. Because, like I talked about in my last video when I talked about extensor tendonitis, if you tie your shoes too tight, it can lead to injuries. It can lead to tendonitis, and it can lead to Morton's neuromas, and it can lead to metatarsalgia, which are all injuries, minor injuries, but they are injuries, which come from tying your shoes too tight and the added pressure on the top of your foot, so you don't want that. And the second thing why I don't want to be pulling them too tight with this new lacing system is because it makes me paranoid that I've got the wrong size, because I never really have to tie my shoes that tight when I'm in the Lunaracer 3. So when I'm in the Lunaracer 4 and I'm pulling them really tight, I'm thinking, oh, there's so much like lace over when I'm tied the shoes. Are they like the wrong size? And then it makes me, you know, paranoid. Another difference with the Lunaracer 4 is that they have a lot more of a kind of open mesh area on the front here compared to the Lunaracer 3. So on the Lunaracer 3 you can see there's like a slight mesh area here on the front, which is for breathability and, you know, probably just again to cut down on weight. But it really is quite wholly and very sort of open mesh here on the shoe. And one of the things when I tried it on was I was a bit paranoid, again with the paranoia. I was a bit worried that my foot was going to come through the top of the shoe because there are so many holes, and I was thinking, well, in previous Lunaracers my foot has sometimes come through this part of the shoe after a number of runs, and, you know, with wear on the shoe my foot will burst through that bit at the side because it's quite thin. And so it made me think, because of the thinner material with the mesh on the front here, is my toe going to like push up through that material and create a hole, which is something that I wasn't also confident about. Another thing that's different about the shoe is that it feels more like slipper-like and more kind of, it feels softer around the outside here, so there's more padding around the outside here to the Lunaracer 3 in the Lunaracer 4. So as you can see in the Lunaracer 3, it's quite stripped back and it's a totally different material than this kind of padded, cushioned feel of the Lunaracer 4. I can only describe it as feeling more like the Lunar Glide. If you've ever tried the Lunar Glide and you know the cushioning of that shoe, it's very, very similar to that. And I just didn't like that because I didn't like how they've really sort of gone away from the feel of the Lunaracer 3, and it just feels, the Lunaracer 4 feels completely different, and it just feels like I know they have tried to upgrade it, and I know they've stripped a bit of the weight out, and they've, you know, taken the fly wire off the side to make it a bit more streamlined, and personally I just don't feel like it's a good shoe. I don't feel like the sizing's good either, because in a Lunaracer 4 I religiously take a 6.5 UK size. I'm usually a UK 6. So I go up half a size in the Lunaracer 3. In the Lunaracer 4, I was recommended to get a UK 7. So you're recommended to go up like a whole size rather than half a size. But again, when I have tried these out just on carpet, I haven't been outside in these because they're going back. But when I've put them on with running socks, which is, you know, just these kind of thin socks that I've got on now, there seems to be too much room in the toe area, and there also seems to be too much room here, and when there's too much room here and here, it kind of feels like you're going to either overpronate or underpronate or supinate, because you're kind of like falling all over the place in them in the arch area. So that was another thing that I didn't like really, you know, the kind of size difference. And the last thing that I will talk about is how different they feel in the mid-arch area. Now obviously, being a Lunaracer, they haven't gone and added anything like dynamic support or like a mid-foot shank in the inner area. There's still no like cushioning aspect of the shoe there. Supposedly it's supposed to run exactly the same as the Lunaracer 3. But when you actually try them on and you sort of jog up and down on the spot, because of this new lacing system, they use this like it's almost like an inner tongue, and they use this bit in the middle, which is the lacing system, but it goes sort of towards the inner of the shoe, and you can almost feel that sort of flappy bit there when you're actually running, and I just didn't like that, and it just felt really strange, and it just didn't feel good, and that's just the reason when they're going back, basically. It's a real shame because I really like the look of this shoe. I think they come in some really nice colourways, and obviously the fact that they've stripped down the weight again, that can only be an advantage. But for all the drawbacks that I've just given, this is why they're going back. Now I have ordered a few more pairs of these, dead stock. Obviously they're being discontinued and these are being brought in now. So I do understand that in time I'm going to have to transition over to the Lunaracer 4. But I've got enough pairs of the Lunaracer 3 that I'm not so worried about it at the moment. So, you know, when my Lunaracer 3s do run out, I probably will transition over into these. Even if it means like running outside in them and then deciding they're not for me, and then I really don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest, because I've run in the Lunaracer for so many years that I just could not run in anything else now. It would just be so like alien to me to run in anything else. But the thing is, the Lunaracer 4 feels so far removed from the Lunaracer 3 that it feels like a completely different shoe anyway, so maybe that would just be like a natural thing to do for me to move on to another shoe. So I hope you have found this review helpful. One thing that I will say about the Lunaracer 4 is that at least they have kept exactly the same sole on the shoe. So as you can see, they're still using this kind of pod design, and the sole is still exactly the same, what do they call it? Lunarlon foam fabric. So it still has exactly the same ride where the sole is concerned, but where the upper of the shoe is concerned and around the midfoot, because of the new lacing system, it does feel very different. So if you are thinking about getting the Lunaracer 4, I would highly recommend trying them on first, because if I had not tried them on first and I'd have just bought them and then, you know, bought them online and just put them on and gone out running in them, I would have just felt like they needed to go back, but then I'd have run in them, so they couldn't have gone back. So I think Nike do have a really good returns policy at the moment. When I last spoke to them on the live chat, they said that I could actually order them and I could wear them, and if I didn't get on with them, I could send them back, even if they'd been worn outside. So if you wanted to go ahead and do that, you can still do it, and I might do that, you know, when my Lunaracer 3s run out, because that's a sort of money back guarantee. You're not like losing anything, there's nothing at risk there. So I hope you've enjoyed that review. I just thought I would make the review before I send them back, which I've said 100 times in this video. Remember to follow me on Instagram. I am back running completely well now. My foot is, I'd say, 99% better. So this week has been the first week that I have run every day. Last week I was still kind of alternating running and swimming. So it's been really nice to get back into it. And if I don't speak to you beforehand, I hope you have a really nice Christmas, and I'll see you in my next video.